My sister sold the condo I inherited from Grandma behind my back, but she made a crucial mistake. My name is Harper and I am 29 years old. My coffee was still warm when my lawyer said the words that hollowed me out. The condo's gone, Harper. Sold 2 weeks ago. Your sister signed the papers. I didn't drop the mug. I didn't scream. I didn't do anything. I just stared out the window of my small flat. The London rain was streaking down the glass, gray and cold. It felt like the weather already knew what I had just learned. My world, which was already gray, had just gone black. My sister Maya had stolen Grandma June's last gift to me. She had sold my condo, the one place on earth that was supposed to be mine. She did it from Florida, thinking I was too far away, too quiet, and too weak to do anything about it. She thought the distance would keep me silent. She was about to learn what silence can do. That morning had started like any other. The 6 a.m. alarm. The weak light of an English morning filtering through the curtains. My flat is small, just a bedroom and a little kitchen, but it was mine. It was my escape. I had spent the last 5 years building a life here, far away from my family, far away from the noise of their expectations. I worked as a freelance graphic designer. It was quiet work. It paid the bills. It allowed me to be invisible, which was where I had always been most comfortable. And before I tell you how everything flipped, like and subscribe. Drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. My family lives in Florida. My mother, my father, and my sister, Maya. They live in a world of bright sunshine, loud dinners, and perfect smiles. I was the shadow in that house. The artistic one. The sensitive one. Those were the words they used when they meant broken or difficult. Maya was the golden one. She was 2 years older, a successful real estate agent, married to a man who looked good in a suit. She was the one who always did the right thing, said the right thing, and wore the right thing. I was the one who left. The phone rang at 9 a.m., which was 4 a.m. in Florida. That should have been my first clue. Harper? It's Thomas. Thomas was our family's lawyer. He had handled my parents' wills, my father's business, and most recently, Grandma June's estate. His voice was tired. Thomas? Is everything okay? It's early there. I'm afraid not, he said. He sighed, a long, heavy sound that seemed to travel through the phone line and chill my kitchen. I'm calling about your grandmother's condo, the one in Clearwater Bay. My heart did a strange, tight little squeeze. What about it? There's been some activity on the title. I was alerted by the county registrar. Harper, it's been sold. I looked at my coffee mug. It was white with a small blue bird on it. Grandma had given it to me. Sold? What do you mean? I didn't sell it. I know, Thomas said softly. The papers were filed 2 weeks ago. It was a private cash sale. The new owners are already moved in. The words didn't make sense. They were just sounds. But my name is on the deed. Grandma left it to me, only me. I would have to sign. This is when his voice changed. He was no longer just tired. He was careful. The signature on the transfer deed was Harper J. Evans, but the notary was one I didn't recognize. And the funds were not wired to your account. They were wired to a holding company. I felt my throat close. A holding company? One registered to your sister. There it was. The final, clean, sharp-edged fact. The condo's gone, Harper. Sold 2 weeks ago. Your sister signed the papers. He kept talking. He said words like legal options and fraud and investigation. I couldn't hear him. All I could hear was the rain on the glass and the sound of my own breathing, which was suddenly very loud in the small room. I wasn't a real estate person. I wasn't a lawyer. I was just me, the person who runs away. The person who avoids confrontation. Maya knew that. She had counted on it. She had counted on me being the person I had always been. Harper? Are you still there? Thomas asked. Yes, I whispered. My voice was a thread. I'm here. What do you want me to do? I looked at the blue bird on the mug. It looked cheerful, stupidly cheerful. Find out everything, I said. The words came out cold and hard, surprising even me. Find out who the notary was. Find out who the buyers were. Get me a copy of every single document she signed. Harper, this could get very, very ugly with your family. I know, I said. Get the papers, Thomas. I hung up the phone. I did not cry. I sat at my little table for a long time until the coffee was ice cold. The numbness was a mercy. It was a thick, heavy blanket that kept the screaming part of my brain quiet. She had stolen it. Not just the walls. Not just the view of the bay. Not just the monetary value. She had stolen the one piece of proof I had that I mattered. The one tangible thing Grandma June had given me to say, I see you. I love you. Maya, who had everything. Maya, who was loved by everyone. She had looked at the one thing that was mine, and she had taken it. The rain kept falling. I watched a single drop run a crooked path down the window, like a tear. She thought I would cry. She thought I would call our mother, sobbing. She thought I would be emotional Harper, and Mom would tell me to calm down and not make trouble for my sister. I stood up. I washed the coffee mug, dried it, and placed it back on the shelf. I was not emotional. I was empty. And in that empty space, something new was starting to grow. It was cold, and it was quiet, and it was patient. Maya had made a mistake. She had forgotten that while she was busy being golden, I was busy watching. I had been watching my whole life. I knew her. I knew how she thought. And I knew, somewhere in her perfect, arrogant crime, she had left a crack. My job was to find it. I grew up in a house where my worth was always measured next to my sister's. It was not a quiet measurement. It was loud. It was at the dinner table. It was in the driveway. It was at every holiday. Maya was the golden one. I know I keep saying that, but it's the only word for it. She had straight-A report cards that were taped to the fridge. I had sketchbooks full of drawings that were kept in a drawer. She made the cheerleading squad. I joined the art club. Why can't you be more like your sister? My mother would ask. It wasn't a mean question, not in her mind. It was a practical one. Maya is so composed, so focused. You're always drifting, Harper. My father just stayed quiet. He worked. He read the paper. He let the noise of my mother and Maya fill the house. His silence was its own kind of agreement. Maya was flawless. She never had a bad hair day. She never stumbled on her words. She was composed, admired, and she knew it. I was the dreamer, the one who left. The one who was too sensitive. If I cried, I was being dramatic. If Maya cried, the world stopped to find out what was wrong. But Grandma June saw me differently. Grandma June was my father's mother. She was not like the rest of the family. She was quiet like me. She lived in a small 2-bedroom condo overlooking Clearwater Bay. It smelled like salt and old books. The furniture was wicker, and the curtains were a pale, faded yellow, like lemonade. While my parents and Maya went to the country club, I would ask to stay with Grandma. We would sit on her small balcony watching the pelicans dive for fish. She didn't ask me about my grades. She didn't ask me why I wasn't more popular. She would watch me sketch the water. You have your grandfather's hands, she told me once. I was 16. He could build anything. You can draw anything. It's the same magic, Harper. She was the only one who called it magic. My mother called it a hobby. Maya called it a waste of time. You've got your grandfather's stubborn fire too, she said, her voice soft but strong. I see it in you. It's quiet, but it's there. Don't let life make you small. Don't let them make you small. I knew who them was. She saw it all. When I decided to move to London for a study abroad program and then just never came back, my family was furious. You're running away, my mother yelled over the phone. It's impractical, Maya said, her voice clipped and judgmental. What's your plan, Harper? You don't have a plan. But Grandma June sent me a letter. Inside was $500 in cash and a pressed violet. Good for you, her letter said. Go find your own sky. Don't worry about the noise back here. I'll keep a light on for you, and she did. We talked every Sunday. I told her about the rain, the museums, my classes. She told me about the tides, the funny old neighbor in 3B, and how Maya was setting the world on fire in real estate. She's a shark, that one, Grandma said. It wasn't a compliment. When Grandma got sick, I flew back. I sat by her hospital bed for 2 weeks. Maya was there too, but she was different. She was on her phone, taking calls in the hallway, handling things. She organized the nurses. She filed the insurance papers. She was efficient. I was the one who held Grandma's hand. I was the one who read to her. The day before she passed, she squeezed my hand. Her eyes were milky, but they were focused on me. The condo, Harper, she whispered. Her voice was like dry leaves. It's yours. It's all in the papers. I tried to shush her. Don't worry about that, Grandma. No, she insisted. She had that stubborn fire, too. It's your safe place. Your light. Don't let her bully you. She knew. Even at the end, she knew. She died that night. The condo overlooking Clearwater Bay wasn't just property. It wasn't just a two-bedroom on the water. It was her belief in me, signed in her own cursive, sealed with love. At the reading of the will, her voice was clear through the lawyer. My parents got her stocks. Maya got her jewelry, a collection of expensive, shiny things that she had always admired. And to me, Harper June Evans, she left the condo. Free and clear. I remember Maya's face. It wasn't sad. It was tight. She smiled, a quick, sharp smile that didn't reach her eyes. Well, that's perfect, she said, turning to me. Since you live in London, that's just a complication for you. I'll handle it. I was too deep in grief to understand what she meant. Now, sitting in my London flat, I understood. She hadn't seen a gift. She had seen a complication. She hadn't seen a promise. She had seen a property, and she had decided, just as she always had, that she deserved it more. After the funeral, the house was full of casseroles and quiet whispers. I felt like I was floating, disconnected from my own body. Grief does that. It makes the world fuzzy, like a radio station that won't come in clearly. Maya was not fuzzy. She was sharp. She found me in Grandma's old room holding the Bluebird coffee mug. Harper, we need to talk about the condo, she said. She was already in a black suit, holding a leather-bound folder. She looked like she was closing a deal. I can't right now, Maya. You don't have to do anything, she said, using that tone she always used, the one that was 10% patience and 90% condescension. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I know you're grieving. I know this is all too much for you. She sat on the bed, her back perfectly straight. The estate has to be settled. There's probate, there are taxes, there are HOA fees. It's complicated. She paused, letting the word hang in the air. Complicated, the word they always used for me. You're all the way in London, she continued. You can't handle this from there. Just let me handle it. I'll get the utilities transferred. I'll deal with the paperwork. I'll make sure it's all taken care of. What does taken care of mean? I asked. My voice was small. It means I'll handle it for the family, she said smoothly. Don't you worry about it. It's the last thing you need on your plate. You just go back to London and grieve. I let her. That's the part that hurts the most. I let her. I was weak, and I was sad, and I just wanted to go back to my quiet little flat where I felt safe. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to be a problem, so I nodded. Okay, Maya, thank you, she smiled. Of course. That's what sisters are for. I flew back to London a few days later. The first week I didn't get out of bed. The second week I started working again, just to make the hours pass. I tried to call Maya a few times. How are things with the condo? I asked. Oh, it's a mess, she'd say, her voice rushed. The paperwork is unbelievable. Lawyers are so slow. Don't worry, I'm on it. Another time I asked, do you need me to sign anything? No, she said quickly. I'm just getting it all organized first. I'll send you a package when it's ready. The package never came. Weeks went by. The grief started to fade from a sharp pain to a dull ache. I started to think about the condo. I imagined visiting it, sitting on that balcony. I started to look at flights for the spring. Then came the call from Thomas. The condo's gone, Harper. Sold 2 weeks ago. After I hung up with him, I sat in that cold, vibrating numbness for hours. When the sun started to set, I finally moved. I went to my computer. The email from Thomas had arrived. Subject, FW. Evans estate documents. Inside were 3 attachments. The first was a PDF of Grandma June's will. I scrolled down. There it was in black and white. I bequeath my property to my granddaughter, Harper June Evans. The second was the new deed of sale. A name I didn't know, Clearwater Holdings LLC, was listed as the buyer. The third attachment was the one that made my blood stop. It was the transfer deed, the document that moved the property from my name to the new owner, and there, at the bottom, was the signature, Harper J. Evans. It wasn't my signature. It was clean and confident. The H was big and bold. The E was sharp. It was a signature in a hurry, a signature that was used to signing important things. It looked nothing like my signature. Mine is small, a little shaky, like me. She hadn't even tried to copy it. That's when I knew. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was arrogance. She hadn't faked my signature. She had just signed, as if she had the right, as if her name and my name were interchangeable. As if, in the end, everything that belonged to me really belonged to her. She had erased me. She had taken my name, my inheritance, and my one safe place, and signed it all away with a confident flourish of her pen. And she had done it believing I would be too weak, too emotional, and too far away to ever find out. Or that if I did, I would just cry and let her keep it. I looked at the signature again. It was so Maya. She had forged Grandma's promise, and she had done it with a steady hand. I felt a coldness spread from my chest all the way to my fingertips. She thought she had committed the perfect crime, but she had signed it with the one thing I knew better than anyone else in the world, her own pride. For 2 full days, I did nothing. I sat in my flat and let the full weight of the betrayal hit me. It wasn't just the condo. It was my entire life. It was every birthday party where my gift was overlooked for Maya's. It was every dinner where my art was called nice, while her grades were called brilliant. It was my mother, my father, my entire family, always looking at her, and looking right through me. This was just the final act. The last biggest proof that I didn't matter. That I was invisible, I cried. I let myself be the emotional Harper they all expected. I cried for Grandma. I cried for the little girl who just wanted someone to hang her drawing on the fridge. I cried because I felt so stupid. I had thanked her. "Thank you, Maya," I'd said. On the 3rd day, the tears stopped. I woke up and the rain had finally cleared. A weak, watery sun was trying to break through the clouds. I got up, made coffee, and sat at my desk. The grief was still there, but it wasn't a flood anymore. It had receded, and what was left on the shore was hard and sharp. It was anger. A cold, quiet anger I had never really let myself feel before. I thought about what Grandma June used to say. "You've got that stubborn fire. Don't let them make you small." They had made me small my entire life, and I had let them. I opened my closet and pulled out a box from the top shelf. It was labeled Grandma. I hadn't been able to open it since she died. Inside, beneath her old gardening gloves and a faded scarf that still smelled like her, was a stack of letters. Every letter she had ever written me, tied with a blue ribbon. I untied the ribbon. I opened the old letters, the ones she'd tucked with pressed violets and wisdom. Her handwriting looped softly. Every stroke was graceful, even at the end when her hand trembled. Her H was soft. Her J was a beautiful round curve. She wrote like she spoke, with thought, with care. "Dear Harper, don't let them dim your light. It's a bright one. My dearest girl, I'm so proud of you. London sounds wonderful. Don't you worry about the noise back here. I read them for an hour." Then I pulled another box from under my bed. This one was labeled Family. I rarely opened it. Inside was a stack of birthday cards. I found one from Maya. "Happy birthday, Harper. Try not to spend all your money in one place. Love, Maya." I looked at her signature. It was just as I remembered. Sharp, heavy, impatient. Her M was like a mountain range. Her A was a quick, angry circle. I laid her birthday card next to Grandma's letter. Then, I went to my computer and pulled up the forged signature on the deed. Harper J. Evans. It wasn't my signature. And it wasn't Grandma's. It was Maya's. She had tried to make it look a little different, maybe. A little less her. But the impatience was there. The heavy-handed cross on the H. The sharp, fast loop of the E. She had signed my name, but with her own hand. That was the crack. That was the difference I needed. My grief was gone. My sadness was gone. Replaced by a focus so sharp it felt like glass. I wasn't emotional anymore. I was surgical. I opened a new, secure folder on my laptop. I labeled it Truth. I went to my email. I searched for every email Maya had ever sent me about the condo. It's a mess, Harper. Lawyers are so slow. I saved it as a PDF. Don't worry your pretty little head. I'm handling it. I saved it as a PDF. I downloaded the copy of the will. I downloaded the forged deed. I downloaded the record of the sale. I took a high-resolution photo of Maya's signature from the birthday card. I took a photo of Grandma's signature from her letters. I took a photo of my own signature from my passport. I placed them all side by side in a single document. The fake, the forger, the victim. Each file became a seed of justice. I wasn't the sensitive dreamer anymore. I wasn't the emotional little sister. I was a person with a case. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to be quiet. I wasn't going to run. I was going to fight. I had the proof. Or at least I had the beginning of it. The signatures were one thing. It was emotional proof. But I knew I needed something harder. Something that couldn't be argued. I called Thomas, the family lawyer, again. This time, my voice was different. I wasn't the whispering, shocked girl from the first call. "Thomas," I said, my voice flat and clear, "I'm sending you a file. It contains a copy of the forged deed, a sample of my sister's handwriting, and a sample of my own." "They are a match," Thomas sighed. I could hear him rubbing his face. "Harper, a signature analysis is complicated. It's expensive. It's not a smoking gun. Maya can just deny it. It becomes a he said, she said situation. And frankly, your family, they will side with Maya. They will say you're being emotional." That word again. Emotional. It was the word they used to shut me down. "I'm not emotional, Thomas," I said. "And I'm not done. I'm just telling you what I've found. What I need from you is the name of the notary on that document. And the name of the title company that handled the sale." He was quiet for a moment. I think he was surprised. "I have that," he said slowly. "The notary's name is James T. Fielding, commission number 84301. The title company was Sunshine Title Services." "Thank you," I said. "I'll be in touch." "Harper, wait," he said. Don't confront her. Don't call your mother. Let me verify this. We'll need time. You verify your way, Thomas. I'll verify mine." I hung up. I knew he was dragging his feet. He was the family lawyer. He wanted this to go away. He wanted me to settle, to be quiet. Patience is its own form of revenge. I opened my laptop. The folder labeled Truth was waiting. I wasn't just a designer anymore. I was an investigator. I started with the title company, Sunshine Title Services. I found their website. It looked professional. But when I searched their company registration on the Florida State Business Directory, I found they had only been incorporated 2 months ago. The registered agent? Maya Evans. My heart wasn't hammering. It was cold. She had created a shell company to handle the sale and move the money. This was so much bigger than I thought. She had planned this for months. Next, I went for the notary, James T. Fielding, commission number 84301. I went to the Florida Department of State website. They have a public database where you can verify any notary in the state. I typed in the name, James T. Fielding. The website flashed. No results found. My hands started to shake. Just a little. I tried again. Maybe I misspelled it. I copied and pasted it directly from Thomas's email. No results found. I tried searching by the commission number. First, when the screen refreshed. No notary public was found for this commission number. I stared at the screen. I felt a slow, cold smile spread across my face. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a smile of pure, terrible understanding. She hadn't just forged my name. She had faked the notary stamp. She had invented a person. She had invented a commission number. She had created a fake title company to process her own crime. It wasn't a crack. It was a canyon. It wasn't just a mistake. It was arrogance, stacked on top of lies, stacked on top of sheer, stupid greed. She thought I was so stupid, so artistic and emotional that I would never check, that I wouldn't even know how to check. This was her fatal mistake. She hadn't just broken a promise. She had committed a felony. A very clear, very simple, and very provable felony. I took a screenshot of the No Results Found page. I saved it to the Truth folder. I picked up my phone. I didn't call Thomas. I knew what he would say. Let's wait. Let's be careful. I didn't want to be careful. I wanted to be done. I found Maya's number. My thumb hovered over the call button. I remembered Thomas's one good piece of advice. Don't confront her. He was right. A confrontation would be messy. It would be yelling. It would be emotional. I didn't need to confront her. The state of Florida would do that for me. I closed my laptop. I looked out the window. The sun was almost bright. By morning, I knew exactly what I had to do. I wasn't just going to call my lawyer. I was going to file a report. I spent the rest of that day in a strange, cold calm. I had the Truth folder. I had the screenshot of the fake notary search. I had the proof of her shell company. I had the facts. But I didn't know what to do with them. Do I call Thomas? Do I go straight to the police in Florida? Do I hire a private lawyer? Every option felt huge. It felt like pushing a button that could start a war. I was still just me, Harper, in a small flat in London. I was still the sensitive one. This was a world of lawyers and police and fraud. I felt like I was in over my head. I made tea. I stared at the truth folder on my laptop screen. I was so busy trying to plan my first move, I didn't see hers. 2 days after I found the flaw, my phone rang. The screen lit up. Maya. My heart didn't pound. It didn't race. It just stopped. It felt like a cold stone dropped into my stomach. This was it. She was calling. My first instinct was to ignore it, to let it go to voicemail, to hide, just like I had always done. Don't let them make you small. I looked at my phone's screen. There was a little icon. Record. I had never used it before. My hand, very steady, pressed it. A small red dot appeared. Then I answered the call. Hello, Maya? Her voice was bright. It was the brightest, happiest, most cheerful voice I had ever heard. It was sugar poured over glass. Harper! Oh my God, hi! You won't believe the month I've had. I finally sold Grandma's condo! I said nothing. I just listened to the sound of her lie. Grandma's condo. Not my condo. I got an amazing offer, she gushed. She was talking fast. A cash buyer, Harper. All cash, it was so fast. You wouldn't believe the market here right now. It's just insane. They wanted to close in 10 days. It was a whirlwind, but I got it done. I stared at the wall. My flat was silent. I could hear her breathing, all the way from Florida. You mean the condo she left me? I said. It wasn't a question. It was a statement, Maya laughed. It was a sharp, brittle sound. The sound she used when she thought I was being stupid. Oh, come on, Harper. Don't be like that. You don't even live here. It was just sitting empty. It was a liability. The HOA fees were piling up, there were taxes. It was a mess. You have no idea. Lies. All of it. Grandma had paid the condo off in 1995. The HOA fees were paid for a year in advance by the estate. I knew. I had the papers. I handled it, she said, her voice full of pride. I handled it for the family. I did all the heavy lifting. You should thank me. I'm going to send you a check for your share, of course. After my expenses, there it was, the hook. Expenses. My voice was very quiet. What expenses, Maya? Oh, you know, she said, waving her hand, and I could hear her waving her hand. Staging, legal fees, my commission, of course. Closing costs. It was a lot of work, Harper. You have no idea what it takes to get a deal like that done. The legal fees, I said. Were those from Sunshine Title Services? The line was silent. Just for a second. The bright, sugary tone disappeared. Yes, exactly, she said, her voice a little more careful. They handled the closing. See? All taken care of. I told you I'd handle it. And the notary, I said. I was just asking a question. James T. Fielding, was he expensive? I saw his name on the deed. A longer pause. A pause so long I could feel the static crackle over the ocean. When she spoke again, the glass was all that was left. The sugar was gone. Her voice was cold. What are you talking about, Harper? What deed? I saw the paperwork, Maya, I said. What paperwork? She snapped. Thomas shouldn't be bothering you with that. That's why I was handling it. You don't understand this stuff. He didn't, I said. I got it myself. It was very simple. Just a few clicks. She said nothing. You forged my signature, Maya. The silence on the line was absolute. It was a black hole. I could hear my own heart beating now. A slow, heavy drum. Thump, thump, thump. Watch it, Harper, she said. Her voice was low and dangerous. You don't know what you're talking about. You're getting emotional. Don't start drama. You'll regret it. She hung up. Click. I stared at the phone. It had been her. The perfect, composed, golden Maya. Threatening me. She hadn't denied it. She hadn't said, "What?" Of course I didn't. She hadn't been shocked. She had just been angry. Angry that I'd found out. I looked at the red dot on my screen. I pressed stop. A file saved. Audio recording Maya MP3. Her confession was already mine. It wasn't a confession to forgery, no. But it was a confession to selling my property without my permission. It was a confession to the lies. It was her telling me she handled it. That, plus the fake notary, was everything. I didn't hesitate. I didn't cry. I didn't feel weak. I picked up the phone again. I dialed my lawyer. Thomas, I said, and my voice did not shake. She called me. I recorded it. And the notary is fake. I have the proof from the state website. His commission number doesn't exist. There was a long, sharp intake of breath on his end of the line. My God, Harper, he whispered. This isn't a family dispute. This is a felony. I know, I said. It's time to file the report. Not tomorrow. Now. Thomas was no longer the tired family lawyer. The man I spoke to next was just a lawyer. His voice was sharp, fast, and focused. A fake notary, he said, the shock still in his voice. Harper, are you absolutely certain? I'm emailing you the screenshot from the state database right now, I said. I was already at my computer. And the audio file of her call. And the business registration for her shell company, Sunshine Title Services. The company she registered herself 2 months ago. I hit send. I heard the swoosh sound from my laptop. On the phone, I heard Thomas typing. He was quiet for a long time. I just waited. I have them, he said finally. His voice was grim. My God, she built the whole thing. The company, the notary. This is premeditated. This is bank fraud, wire fraud, aggravated identity theft. He was listing crimes. Real crimes. Crimes I saw on television. Crimes that sent people to prison. My stomach turned over. What? What happens now, Thomas? Now, I'm filing an emergency injunction with the court. Right now, he said. I'm petitioning a judge to freeze the proceeds of the sale. We have to lock that money down before she moves it. And I'm filing a formal report with the state attorney's office and the Florida bar. She's a licensed real estate agent. She's done. He was moving so fast. I was just trying to keep up. Go, I said. Just do it. We hung up. The adrenaline that had kept me so calm and focused for 3 days just left. It drained out of me, and I was left hollow. I sat on my sofa. I didn't work. I didn't eat. I just stared at the gray London sky. What had I done? This wasn't just about getting a condo back. This was about jail. This was about ruining my sister's life. My own sister. I thought about her. I thought about us as kids. I tried to remember a time when she was kind to me. I remembered one when I was 6. I fell off my bike and scraped my knee. She had been the one to help me up. She had put a bandage on it. You're okay, she had said. Stop crying. You're fine. Even her kindness was in order. Stop being emotional. My fear started to twist into something else. She had counted on me being that 6-year-old girl. The one who would just do as she was told. The one who would believe her. She hadn't just stolen from me. She had stolen from Grandma June. She had spit on her memory. She had looked at the one pure good thing in my life. And she had put a price tag on it. The dread didn't go away. But the resolve came back. This isn't about jail, I told myself. This is about the truth. This is about stopping her. The next day was a Tuesday. I had slept in my clothes. I was making coffee, my hands shaking, when Thomas called. His voice was tense. We got it, he said. Got what? The injunction. The judge issued it this morning. The proceeds from the sale are frozen. The funds in the Sunshine Title Services account are locked. She can't touch a penny of it. So it worked. It worked, he said. The bank has been notified. The state attorney's office has the file. It's in motion, Harper. There's no stopping it now. I hung up. It wasn't a victory. It was gravity. The boulder I had pushed was now rolling down the hill, and it was going to crush whatever was in its path. My flat was silent. It was noon in London, 7 a.m. in Florida. My phone, which had been silent on the table, suddenly buzzed. A call from Maya. I stared at it. I let it go to voicemail. Buzz immediately. Another call. I let it go. Buzz. Again. Buzz. 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 It wouldn't stop. It was a live thing on my table, a trapped, furious bee. It was vibrating so hard it was moving across the wood. I counted. 10 missed calls, 15, 20. The calls stopped. A text message appeared. What did you do, all caps? Then another. Answer me, another. You have ruined my life, another. Pick up the phone, Harper. The phone rang again. It was her. This time I was ready. I let the coldness settle over me. I picked up the phone. I didn't say hello. I just waited. What the hell did you do? It wasn't her voice. It was a scream. A raw animal sound torn from her throat. The composed Maya was gone. This was the real her? Hello, Maya, I said. My voice was quiet. It was like dropping a piece of ice into a fire. My accounts are frozen. My bank called me. The bank manager. They're talking about fraud. They're talking about an investigation. You did this. You little bitch! I told Thomas the truth, I said calmly. That's all I did. The truth? She shrieked. You told him lies. You're trying to ruin me. Me! After everything I did for this family? After I've held everything together while you were off playing artist in the rain? I had heard this speech my whole life. The story of Maya, the martyr, and Harper, the selfish child. I didn't do anything, Maya, I said. That noise you're hearing? That's the sound of justice waking up. She was sobbing now. But they were angry, hot, furious sobs. You've ruined everything. My husband. My reputation. My career. You've ruined it all. No, I said. My voice was soft, but it cut right through her screaming. You did that. What did you say? She whispered. You did that when you picked up Grandma's pen. You did that when you invented a notary. You did that when you stole my name and you stole her memory. There was a long, ragged silence. Just her breathing. You will pay for this, she hissed. Mom and Dad will never forgive you for this. They will hate you. Click. She was gone. I set the phone down. My hand was shaking. Not with fear. With power. It was a strange, bitter, terrible taste. She had threatened me with the one thing that had always worked. The one thing that had kept me small. Mom and Dad will hate you. The difference was, for the first time in my life, I didn't care. I knew the next call was coming. It was the other barrel of the gun. Maya had fired her shot. Now it was my mother's turn. It took a full day. A day of silence. I imagined the phone calls flying back and forth in Florida. Maya screaming and crying. My mother absorbing it. My father just being quiet. They were circling the wagons. They were building their story. The story would be simple. Maya had made a small mistake. And I, Harper, in my jealousy and my emotional state, had blown it up to ruin her. I was the villain. I had always been the villain. The phone rang at 6 p.m. Mom. I took a deep breath. This was it. This was the fight I had been running from my entire life. I had crossed an ocean to get away from this exact phone call. I answered. Hi, Mom. Harper June Evans. She only used my middle name when she was truly furious. It was the name Grandma had given me. I don't know what kind of sick, twisted game you're playing, she said. Her voice was ice. But you stop it. You stop it right now. There was no hello. No, how are you? No, Harper, what is going on? Just an order. Just an accusation. I'm not playing a game, Mom, I said. My voice was tired. I was so tired. You call that lawyer in the morning and you tell him to drop this. Do you hear me? Your sister is a wreck. She is devastated. She's locked in her room. She won't eat. Her husband, Mark, is beside himself. She worked so hard to handle that condo for the family, and this is how you repay her? Her husband is beside himself. I filed that away. The old me would have started to cry. The old me would have started to yell. But she stole from me. She lied. But I just felt empty. I remembered being 10 years old. I had made a small clay vase in art class. I loved it. It was lopsided and the blue glaze had run. But I had made it. I brought it home so proud. I gave it to my mother. That same day, Maya had won the school spelling bee. Her big, shiny trophy was on the dining room table. Oh, that's nice, honey, my mother had said, taking my vase. She put it on a small table by the door. A week later, the cleaning lady knocked it over and it shattered. I had cried. I was heartbroken. My mother had sighed, annoyed. Harper, for heaven's sake, don't be so emotional. It was just a little pot. I'll buy you another one. She never understood. It wasn't just a pot. I had made it. Now she was doing it again. It's just a condo. Don't be so emotional. Mom, I said, my voice flat. She didn't handle it. She stole it. She stole from Grandma. She stole from me. She faked my name on a legal document. She invented a notary. She committed multiple crimes. My mother made a sound of pure disgust. A skuck sound. Listen to yourself, Harper. Stole. Crimes. That is such an ugly, dramatic way to talk. Your sister would never do that. You know she wouldn't. There must be a misunderstanding. There is no misunderstanding, I said. I have the proof. The state of Florida has the proof. Her bank has the proof. Proof? She scoffed. What proof? A few papers you don't understand? Maya told me everything. She said she signed one paper for you. to speed things up, because you were grieving. She was helping you, Harper. And now you're trying to send her to jail for it? This was the story. This was what they had decided. Why are you doing this? My mother's voice started to rise. Why are you always like this? You are so jealous. You have always been jealous of your sister. Ever since you were little girls? She's successful, she's happy, she's built a beautiful life, and you just can't stand it. You have to find some way to tear her down. It was the killing blow. The accusation they had used my entire life to keep me in my box. If I was sad, I was jealous. If I was angry, I was jealous. If I disagreed, I was jealous. My entire existence, measured against my sister's. This has nothing to do with jealousy, Mom, I whispered. It has everything to do with it, she yelled. You're always so emotional. There it was. The word, the weapon, the dismissal, the one word that had been used to erase my feelings, my thoughts, my entire reality for 29 years. The old Harper would have shattered, but something new had happened. That word, it didn't hurt me anymore. It had no power. I just felt pity. I felt sorry for her. She was so blind. She had a golden daughter and a shadow daughter, and she had never once bothered to see that the shadow had substance. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't defend myself. I just said, "Okay, Mom." She was so prepared for a fight. My quiet agreement confused her. "Okay?" she stammered. "That's all you have to say? I am telling you as your mother to fix this. You call off the lawyers." "I can't," I said. It was the simple truth. It's not in my hands anymore. It's with the state attorney. I am a witness. I can't call it off. You are a liar, she shrieked. I have to go, Mom. Harper, don't you dare hang up on me. I ended the call. My hand didn't shake. I didn't cry. I stood up and I walked to my window. The London rain was back. It was a steady, gray downpour tapping on the glass. I remembered being a little girl, hiding in my room, listening to that same sound, feeling small and lonely and wrong. I looked out at the gray, weeping sky. I watched the people below, huddled under their umbrellas, rushing. For the first time in my entire life, the rain didn't make me feel small. It didn't feel like judgment, it sounded like applause. I was free. I had finally stopped trying to get my mother to see me. I knew she never would, and the knowledge was a strange, sharp, painful, and total kind of freedom. The next 3 days were a quiet war. I knew my family was scrambling. They would be hiring the most expensive, shark-like lawyer in Florida. They would be building a case against me. I was the unstable, vindictive, emotional daughter who lived on another continent. I was the one who was jealous. I tried to work. I moved pixels around on a screen, but I couldn't see them. Thomas called to give me an update. The state attorney is reviewing the file, Harper, he said. His voice was serious. This is very real. The bank's internal fraud department is also conducting its own investigation. She's in serious trouble. They could press criminal charges. And the Florida Real Estate Commission has already been notified. The word criminal made me feel sick. This was my sister, my blood. Is this what I wanted? To see her in a courtroom, in jail? I was sitting in that gray, sick feeling, my half-eaten toast on a plate, when my phone rang. It was a Florida area code, but not a number I knew. Not Maya, not my mother. My stomach twisted. It was probably her new expensive lawyer calling to threaten me. I took a breath. I answered, "Hello? Harper?" It was a man's voice. Tense. Scared. "Is this Harper Evans?" "Yes," I said. "Who is this?" It's Mark, Maya's husband." My blood went cold. This was the last person I ever expected to hear from. My mother had said he was beside himself. I assumed he was part of it. "Mark," I said. My voice was wary. "I don't think we should be talking. You need to talk to my lawyer." "No, please," he said. He sounded terrible. "Please, just don't hang up. I'm not at the house. I'm at a hotel. A Marriott." He was not with her. "I didn't know, Harper," he said, and his voice cracked. It was the sound of a man completely falling apart. "I swear to God, I didn't know. Not about any of this. She told me you'd agreed to let her sell it. That you just didn't want to deal with the paperwork. She said you were splitting the money. I said nothing. I just listened. I didn't know until the accounts were frozen," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "My name. My name is on some of those accounts, Harper. The ones she used to set up the shell company. She told me it was for a real estate investment. A new LLC for her business. He was terrified. I saw the paperwork, he said. This morning, she left her laptop open. She has a file. My God, Harper. She's forged everything. The notary, the title company. She's been moving money and it's not just this. I think she's done this before. With other properties. He was saving himself. I knew it. But it didn't matter. Why are you telling me this, Mark? I asked. Because the police are involved, he said, his voice rising in panic. Because I'm involved. My name is on the joint accounts. I'm not going down for this, Harper. I'm not. I have a career. We have kids. I'll testify. I'll give you the file from her computer. I'll tell the state attorney everything I know. Just make it clear I wasn't a part of it. Please. The family wall had just collapsed. I hung up. I immediately called Thomas. I told him everything. Thomas was quiet for a moment. Well, he said, he'll save himself, and in doing so, he'll sink her. It's over, Harper. They have no case. They have nothing. 1 hour later, Thomas called me back. His voice was different. It was the voice of a man who had just won. A new lawyer just called me, he said. A criminal defense attorney. Not a family lawyer. He represents Maya, and she's offering to settle immediately. They are terrified. Mark must have told them he was going to talk. They're trying to get ahead of the state attorney. They're offering $150,000 cash to drop all charges and sign an NDA. $150,000. I thought about it. It was a lot of money. More than the condo was worth. I could buy a flat in London. I could be done. I could just take the money and disappear from their lives forever. I thought about the money. And then I thought about my mother's voice. You're so emotional. You're so jealous. I thought about Maya's laugh. You should thank me. If I took the money, that would be the story. The story would be that I had been difficult and had extorted money from my poor, successful sister. The truth would be buried under a non-disclosure agreement. No, I told Thomas. No, he said, surprised. Harper, it's a good offer. It's more than the value of the asset. It's not about the money, I said. It was never about the money. I want a confession. Thomas was silent. Then I heard him very faintly give a small laugh. A confession. Okay, I like it. What are your terms? I had been thinking about this for 3 days. I was ready. Here are my terms, I said. First, I want a full notarized apology. In that apology, she must admit to knowingly and illegally forging my signature on the deed of sale. She must admit to fabricating the notary, James T. Fielding. And she must admit to creating the shell company to illegally funnel the proceeds. Okay, Thomas said, typing. That's comprehensive. Second, full repayment to the innocent buyers. She has to use her own money to buy the condo back from them and return the title to my name. Free and clear. I want it back. Got it. Third, a separate letter, handwritten, to our mother. In that letter, she must explain the truth. She must tell her that she stole the condo, that she forged my name, that she lied to everyone, and that I was telling the truth the entire time. Harper, Thomas said softly. That's the term, I said. And fourth, a signed, legally binding promise. She will never again act as an executor, trustee, or have any power of attorney over any family inheritance. Not mine, and not our parents when they pass. She is never to touch a single legal document for this family again. I took a breath. Those are the terms. If she signs every single one, I will consider asking the state attorney to be lenient in their criminal probe. But I will not drop my fraud report until the condo is back in my name. I'll send it over, Thomas said. I could hear the smile in his voice. It was the longest afternoon of my life. I was asking for total surrender. I was asking her to destroy her own image, to her own mother. She would never do it. At 5 p.m., my time, just as the sun was setting, Thomas called. She's signing, he said. Her lawyer is faxing the pages as we speak. I sat at my computer, and I watched them come in. PDF 1, the notarized confession. I, Maya Evans, do hereby admit. PDF 2, the letter to Mom. Dear Mom, I have to tell you the truth. I stole Harper's condo. PDF 3, the legal promise. I, Maya Evans, relinquish all future. All signed in that sharp, impatient, defeated handwriting. I had it. I had the truth, in black and white. Weeks later, the legal mess was over. The dust had settled. Thomas called me one last time. "It's done, Harper," he said. "The condo is back in your name. The title is clean. The innocent buyers have all their money back, plus damages, all paid by Maya. The state attorney's office has filed charges, but given her full confession and repayment, she'll likely get probation and a massive fine. And she's lost her real estate license. For good." "Okay," I said. It was over. I felt quiet. I thought about the condo. I thought about that balcony, overlooking Clearwater Bay. I had fought so hard for it. Then I called Thomas back. "Sell it," I said. He was shocked. "Sell it? Harper, after all this?" "Yes," I said. "Sell it. Grandma didn't leave it for me to hold on to. She left it so I'd move forward. The fight was about the truth. I have the truth. Now I'm moving forward." The condo sold a week later. This time for real. The money, a very large, very clean sum, appeared in my London bank account. I didn't buy a new flat. I didn't buy a new car. I signed a lease on a small sunlit storefront in my neighborhood. It had big front windows and old wood floors. I spent the next month painting the walls, building tables, and hanging my art. I hung a simple, elegant sign in the window. It said, "June & Co., named after her." A month after the studio opened, a package arrived at my flat. It was a small square box from Florida. No return name, just my mother's address. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside, there was no long letter of apology. There was no, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." I knew I would never get that. There was just a small velvet jewelry box. Inside, on a bed of faded satin, was Grandma June's silver pendant. It was a simple round locket she wore every day. Under it was a single piece of paper, folded twice. I opened it. It was my mother's handwriting. It was shaky. It just said, "She would want you to have this." It wasn't a full apology. It wasn't the warm, loving family I had always wanted, but it was an acknowledgement. It was the first honest thing my mother had ever given me. I slipped the silver pendant over my head. It was cool against my skin. I felt the weight of it. The weight of everything I had fought for. I looked around my studio, at my own paintings on the walls, at the sunlight streaming in, and I whispered to the empty room, "I made it, Grandma," because revenge wasn't about payback. It wasn't about the money, or even the condo. It was about remembering who believed in me first. And it was about, for the first time in my life, believing in myself.